Okay, hi guys. I'm quitting my novel. We're getting straight to the point. Yeah. So basically, this was supposed to be a May vlog. Oops. Let's get right here. This was supposed to be like a May vlog, but then, obviously I quit this novel, so then it's like, really, why am I doing the May vlog if I'm gonna quit it. So we're gonna do a quick recap on what happened in May, and then we're gonna go into like why I quit my novel, and then we're gonna talk about my new novel. So yeah, so basically May, what happened? Okay, so basically I started off the month saying I want to write more. During April, I had finals, I had school. I made a video about how college made me. I'm just hearing a dog outside. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Hopefully not. But anyways, I talked about just like how that ruined my writing. It was a thing. Basically May, I was like, okay, I'm gonna write more. So then I started this challenge where it's another video on my channel that got uploaded on a Tuesday instead of a Monday. I have a job, which is later in the vlog, but yeah, I'm gonna later in like the month. But anyways, I started a vlog where I was writing into different places. The point of it was to write more. And in this vlog, I kind of discovered some things which I didn't say in that vlog. I was supposed to say in this vlog, so whatever. I figured out something about my writing process where it's like, I think I am a writer who writes a little bit better in each draft. So I think that I'm like a 20 draft writer instead of like a 4 draft writer. And what I mean by that is like, the way I write my like drafts, they're like 10,000 to 30,000 words, almost 50,000 words. And I feel like for a long time I've always been like, oh my gosh, like this is so bad, like I need to make it like longer so that I can feel like, okay, like I've actually written a novel. Because it's like every time I'm like, oh yeah, I write novels and stuff, like I just like, it just doesn't feel right to say that to people, because it's just like, okay, like I haven't really written a novel. But I feel like because of that, every time I wrote a second draft, because I've never gotten past the second draft process, I've always been like, first draft I'd write like 20,000 word thing, then the second draft I'd want it to be like 50 to 60,000 words, just so I could say like I've written a novel. But like I discovered during like the month of May that like maybe I'm just like a writer who writes 20,000 words, and then maybe I write 25,000 words, or maybe it's still 20,000 words, but it's like the events and the scenes that are happening in the novel are better through each draft, instead of it just like being this like, oh, drastic change and just like making like buffing it up a lot, because it's like I can't buff things up if I don't have anything that I like within the novel, if that makes sense. So I kind of just realized that, which I feel like that will help me write a second draft of the next novel. But yeah, so like I wanted to say that mostly because like the reason why I quit this novel is not because I was having a hard time with it, or just like, yeah, because I was having a hard time with it. I feel like I could have finished draft 2 and then just like gone on to draft 3 and just like made the changes easily, but like I didn't because of reasons that we're going to talk about soon. So basically after that, I got a job, and this is when like I just like didn't update you guys. I got a job because I had been wanting a job since I finished college. I didn't finish college, summer break, whatever. So I was like, okay, let me get a job. And I've been working on that for like 3 weeks and just like been tired every day. This was my 3rd day of working. This isn't a new job. This is my last year job. I just like re-got it during the summer. So yeah, I think you guys are all caught up. So why I quit the novel now, like that's what the video is. I guess just 4 minutes of just like me talking about just like what happened in May. Okay, basically before May, I have been talking about just like how I feel behind in like, not life, but like in my writing. I have never finished a second draft. I thought that I would be querying by the time I was 18. I'm 19 now, and just like that whole thing. And then also, if I had the money, which is the book that I'm writing right now, or I was writing, and Winter's the new book. I don't know if I said that in this clip. I've made this video multiple times, but like none of it was making sense, so I just like restarted. But if I had the money, what was I gonna say? Okay. If I had the money, it's not a book that I think, it's not a book that I don't think will be published, but it's also like one of those books where it's just like not a 50-50 chance, but like if I am going to get published, this book wouldn't this book would not give me the best chances of getting published, which I know you're not supposed to write because of publishing, but like, as you guys have like seen, as I said, like, oh yeah, I've been like, I feel like I'm behind and I feel like all that stuff. So then it's just like combining that with the fact that like I'm writing a novel that I know for a full-on fact will like, not for a full-on fact, but like will most likely not be published. It just like, it wasn't going well. What else about the novel made me go like, no. Another thing about the novel is that I was scared, like, this is a part of like, okay, let's talk about like why I don't think it would get published, because that's like part of the reasons, because it's like, yeah, sure, I like it, but like, whatever. Okay, first off, this novel feels kind of YA. I feel like this novel is my most YA novel because it was written as a YA novel, and it's not like a novel. It is a novel that can appeal to. Okay, this novel is about siblings. When it comes to a sibling story, it is very easy to go in this like YA type of scenario, because it's just like, I don't know, there's just something about a sibling novel that I guess I found out through writing this novel. It's very easy to feel almost YA. This novel was supposed to be the college novel, which was made when I was a young adult, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if that's making sense. It was feeling very YA, where the character was like, oh my gosh, like, my sister is in this, like, cult, church, whatever. And it's like, yes, I wanted to be more mature, or something like that. Yeah. Let's leave it at that. And she's 21, and it's just like, it was just feeling very YA, and I was like, there's a way to make the novel to feel like more like new, like adult, but like adult in the way that like the character is new to being an adult, and just like that process and just like whatever. But I don't think I was doing that. I think the sibling relationship was feeling very YA. That's all I'm going to say, because it's just like, yeah, it's not going to make sense, but like it was feeling YA. Another thing about this novel, that made me think, okay, yeah, it's not going to get published. I feel like this novel, what is it? The themes. Okay, this novel is like a book about like, not religious trauma, but like, yes, but it's not like Catholic religious trauma. And I feel like when it comes to like the Catholic religion and stuff, you can easily make fun of that, or like you can easily like say the things you want to say about that, and I feel like you won't get pushed. Like, okay, I don't know. Okay, basically my point is that like, I feel like religious novels and just like stuff like that, they're always about like, no, not religious novels, but like religious trauma and just like religious like whatever. It's always about the Catholic faith, and I'm just like, this is not necessarily that. And I feel like there's just like something about that that's just like easier to just like say, oh, like critique. It's easier to critique that than it is to critique just like regular religion, kind of. And therefore I'm just like, okay, is it going to get published? So yeah. Yeah. And then there was also just like some personal stuff, like what was it? Oh yeah, plus there was like two stories that weren't meshing well. I know how to fix those things. Let me just say how I'm gonna fix like the novel eventually when I do get to writing it. I'm gonna age up the characters. I feel like every single novel I figure out like the way to fix the novel is to age up the characters. The characters need to be like 30 in order for this book to work, because like if they're 30, the YA-ness of the novel will not be as, it won't feel as not YA, because like the sibling relationship and like the sibling stuff is more of like this being an adult and just like being an adult and just like, I don't know, yeah, like I'm trying not to like say too much about it, but like it's just like more about like, oh yeah, like this is kind of just like a part of like what it means to be grow up, and it's just like, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying not to like say too much, but like I feel like it would allow the relationship to feel less YA because of reasons. Let's just say that. And then when it comes to what else was the problem with this novel? Well, the religious aspects is going to be the same, because, like, I don't know, it's just going to be that. What else? There's nothing else. Yeah, no, and then it would also, yeah, mesh the two things that are happening at the same time, because one of the timelines is, well, not one of the timelines, one of the storylines is, like, the main character, East, who's the main character with her sister, and another plot line is, like, East regretting what she did, like, switching, like, careers, I guess, yeah, and, like, I feel like if they're older, first off, like, the whole switching careers, I feel like that was, like, the most adult thing about the novel. It was, like, mostly, like, the new adult, not new adult, when I say new adult, I don't mean, like, the genre category new adult, I mean, like, that literary fiction that's about just, like, being an adult for, like, the first time, or, like, you know, I mean, like, being a new adult. I feel like that's what it was feeling like, but, like, it was, like, with the sibling relationship, it just wasn't meshing. But yeah, like, that's, like, the new adult stuff or whatever, but, like, with the sibling relationship, it just, like, wasn't working. But I feel like, if they're 30 years old, it's going to, like, help literally, like, both of these things. And, like, I feel like the regret, I always love also just, like, flashing back to, college. I love that. That's, like, oh yeah, that was, like, my personal gripe that I was saying. Like, I feel like this novel was, like, my most, like, high school flashback novels. I am not a fan of high school books. I stopped being a fan of them after, like, junior year because, yeah, because I just, like, am not a fan of them. I think that the best written book about a teenager is, what is it? The 100 Years of Lenny and Margot. Everything else, I feel like there's something about young adults where I think that y'all get it wrong. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know. It's just, like, I'm not a fan. I feel like a lot of the decisions that, like, teenagers make, like, I feel like they're mostly, like, oh, yeah, like, plot conveniences, and then they're like, oh, yeah, the character's a teenager, and that's why they made that decision, but, like, I don't think that's, like, something. Like, I feel like when it came to the 100 Years of Lenny and Margot, I liked how it acknowledged that the main character, like, understood, like, the position she was in, and it's like, even though she was acting, like, childish and stuff, like, it's like, at the very least, there was, like, some sort of, like, seriousness to her. Like, she understood what was going on. It's not like she was just, like, somewhere random, just, like, going around, just, like, I don't know, there's just something about it where I'm just, like, I feel like a lot of young adult novels are written in a, with this feeling of, like, nostalgia, like, someone going back and going, like, oh, wow, I remember when I was, like, this and that and that, rather than, like, what it actually means to be, like, I don't know, in high school and stuff. And I can't write it up right either, so that's why I can't even do that. So, like, I just, like, was not a fan of that. A lot of the past was about high school. I'm more of a writing, the past is about college type of person, so, yeah. So, those are the, like, I guess, failings of the novel. So let's talk about, like, I had these problems, like, a long time ago, and I was talking about, like, oh yeah, I want to quit this novel, but I was like, no, I'm going to persevere, I'm going to persevere, I'm going to persevere. I have never finished the second draft of a novel, so I was like, okay, first off, I'm going to persevere because of that, and also I wanted to keep going because, what is it? Why did I want to keep going? Because of that, and, wait, what? Okay. I feel like this video was literally just, like, in so many different directions. I filmed it so many times because, like, I was trying to make the things make sense like they did with my college video, but, like, this one isn't gonna make sense. I mean, it is. Like, if you've been following me for a long time, then, well, I don't know if you have, but, like, whatever, you're gonna, or if you just, like, watch all my older videos, you'll understand, like, I've been talking about this a lot, but, like, first off, it was, like, that reason, I guess, and then it was also just the fact that, what is it, there are other reasons, but, like, I don't know, I can't think of them now, but yeah, why I stuck to it was because of that, and, oh, okay, I understand now, okay, I don't know how I didn't know that, the other reason why I was like, okay, like, let me not quit a novel is because I have quit, like, literally 2 novels while you guys were with me. One of them was the novel I was writing before that I had spent like a year writing, or I don't know if it was a year. What was that book? That book was, what is it? Therapy Confessions. And then the second book was like the first version of If I Had the Money, but that was like a shorter project. I think I had written it for like a month, and then I was like immediately like, oh yeah, I'm quitting that. And then the novel I didn't quit when I was on the channel, but I had talked about how I quit it like a bunch of times throughout my channel. So I've quit 3 novels, major, not three, 2 major novels, 1 non-major novel in 2 years. So I was like, yeah, I can't quit another one. But yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, I can't quit another novel. So like, I was like, okay, let me continue with this. But it just like, it simply wasn't gonna work. And I feel like every single video of me going, oh my gosh, I'm quitting my novel, is it's like, oh yeah, like obviously it's not gonna work, whatever. But like, I feel like then I make excuses for why the next novel is gonna work, and I feel like that's what this video feels like, and I feel like that's why I haven't made it for a long time. But like, I feel like I'm saying I feel like because I do feel like, but anyways, because like, what is it? Just like the novel, like I need to change the novel. Like it's not gonna work if I don't. And I'm just like gonna do that. So like obviously like, okay, I'm in all over the place, so I don't know. I'm not gonna delete this because I've tried like so many times to make this video and clearly it's not working. So like I guess we're just gonna be all over the place together. But yeah, that's why I didn't want to quit the novel. And yeah, is that all I wanted to say? I wanted to say something else, but I don't remember. So basically, let's talk about like the new novel that I'm writing slash the old novel I'm writing. So this novel is Winter. Winter is the novel that I said that I quit before I went, before I made this channel. And I talked about it a couple of times on this channel. I don't know if it was a couple or a bunch of times. And Winter is like, I feel like the Winter is the book of my heart. A lot of writers talk about like this book that it's like they could not, like it's the, like if this book was like the only book that got published, like they'd feel accomplished. And I feel like that is what Winter is for me. And I feel like the reason okay, let me stop saying I feel like, actually I'm gonna say it because like whatever, it's good, it's like my comfort word, and like me acknowledging it over and over again is just like gonna make me not make sense. But I, okay, Winter is that novel for me because I have been writing this novel like for a long time. I've been writing this novel since my sophomore year of high school. I'm a freshman in college now, so like, what is that? 4 years? I'm gonna be a sophomore this year, so 4 years, let's just say that. And like, it's been on and off type of thing, but I feel like Winter is just like the faith novel. Like, it's like that novel that's just like, yeah, like I'm writing that, because just like, I don't know, I'm just like writing that novel, and it's just like such like a book that first off I like I love books about mental health, and I love books about relationships and all those types of things. And I feel like this novel just like I grew up with this novel that I didn't grow up with. Okay, well, kind of, yeah. Like I've been writing this novel for a long time, and I just like I feel like I always go back to it because it's like the one novel that I'm like, yeah, if I'm gonna tell a story, and if I could only publish one story, I would want it to be this. And I feel like that was also just like a gripe out, like a problem I was having with the other novel. I was like, if this is the only novel I publish, that would be sad. Like, I feel like this novel is like, okay, like if I only publish this thing, like I'm gonna be happy that I just like wrote it and published it. But I also feel like there was fear, like I was scared about that because I was like, okay, like if this novel doesn't get published, like it's like the only thing that like, not the only thing that I have, because it's like I have so many novel ideas, but it's like a novel that means a lot to me, so like it failing would be really sad. And like I just like I feel like that was like kind of the reason why I was like, okay, like let me not write it. Like the first time I quit the novel, the reason why I quit it was because, what was it, the character, first off, a lot of things needed to be changed. I was kind of just like tired of the novel, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back to it. But like, I'm gonna come, like, every novel is like, I'm coming back to it. Like, even like the novel like that I quit, the long time novel that I quit before Therapy Confessions, I'm coming back to it. So it's like, quitting a novel isn't really that sad, I guess, but I just feel like when it comes to just like having a channel and then just like sitting down going, oh yeah, like I'm quitting this novel, I'm quitting this novel, I'm quitting this novel, then it's like almost this, how can I follow this non-linear process, like this messy, just like weird process. And I just like, I feel like that's like a big reason that I'm just like, oh yeah, like quitting a novel, like no, but it's like, it's kind of a part of my process and stuff, but whatever. But yeah, Winter is just like one of those novels that I just, not one of those novels, but I feel like it's like the book that's just like for me, and it's like that book where, just like I said, if it were the only book to get published, I'd be happy. And only book I write to get published, I'd be happy. So yeah, did I say everything about why I quit that novel? Let me think. Are there any other reasons? Also, I feel like there are certain things that I'm just like not saying, and I feel like that's kind of why this is kind of spotty and just like, okay, like what am I saying? But like I feel like I kind of just like want a lot of the novels I write them when I am in the headspace of the characters. And I feel like when it came to this novel, I was always like, okay, I'm not in the heads, like not in the headspace. Okay, when I say yeah, like I'm saying headspace like it's like this, like, oh wow, that book is like such a sad book or whatever. No, it's not like that. I'm saying like as in like I am dealing with the things that the character is dealing with. I tend to write books where I'm dealing with what the character is dealing with. And I feel like when I was writing this book, if I had the money, I was like, okay, this is, I'm not dealing with things. I've kind of like not gotten over it, but like I've kind of like learned the lessons I needed to learn about those things. So it would work out. And I feel like that did me kind of like a disservice, kind of, because yeah, sure, I learned the lessons and just like I wasn't going through the things like actively as I was like writing it, but I feel like kind of like the appeal to like my novels, Therapy Confessions, and well, my appeal to myself to write it, and Winter, is the fact that I was going through those things, and I like currently am going through like the things Winter deals with. The Winter book slash the character's name is Winter. Yeah. And so like I feel like that kind of just like would make me write more. So yeah. So like Winter is just like that book for me, and yeah, I'm gonna say other stuff later about just like why I'm writing. Wait, no, I don't know. We're all over the place. I'm gonna talk about just like Winter, what Winter is about, and then leave it at that, because I feel like this is just like such a scattered video, because like I feel like the reasons why I'm quitting, if I had the money, are very simple. Like just like I just like don't think it's gonna get published, and there are some changes that need to be made, which are easy changes, but like I just don't want to make them. Basically, that's my reason. But I just like wanted to say it, but like not have you guys think that it's like this, like, oh yeah, like you're quitting a novel because like it can't get published or whatever. Because I feel like that's just like a weird thing to say. But yeah, I'm gonna come back and tell you what Winter is about, and just like yeah, because my camera is about to die. Well, it's not about to die. My storage is gonna go. So now we can talk about the new book, Winter. Winter, as I said, yeah, let's just talk about what it's about. So first off, I said it's the book of my heart, obviously, there's that. And Winter is about this girl named Winter. Well, she's not a girl. She's like 24. Her name is Winter. What else? She's been in this long-term relationship for, I don't know, 6 years, maybe? Since her freshman year of college. So however many years that is. That's what, okay, whatever. And basically she's in like this rut, and basically like she quit her job, and now her, what, yeah, And now her girlfriend is like, what is it? Wait, no, no, yeah. And then she's like, okay, like, whatever. And then it's just like causing some problems, but also with some past things that have happened that causes problems, I guess. Basically, it's about how just like mental health and like relationships and just like how those things coincide with each other and just like, you know, I mean, how it just like entangled and just like whatever. That's the book. Yeah, and that's the book I'm gonna write. I've always liked like stories about relationships. I've always liked stories about mental health. I've always liked, well, obviously most of my stories contain both of those two things, but like specifically like marriage stories, except this isn't a marriage, it's like a long-term relationship. But it's gonna be fun to write, and yeah, I'm glad I'm writing this book right now because it's the book I want to write right now, and I might as well just like go for the book I want to write right now because I don't have any like publishing deadlines or anything like that. And second off, I just like the other book isn't going to work out, and it's like it's fine to write a book that's not going to work out, but like at this point in my life I don't think I can do something like that. And now I'm sweating because it's so hot up here. But yeah, I'll get off of this soon. I guess in the next couple of videos, I guess I'm probably going to make an outline. I figured out how I like to outline. I like to outline as like one sentence for every chapter instead of like outlining like these huge things, because I think when I outline like these like a detailed chapter, I feel stuck. I think that was like what I was talking about in either my April vlog, my March vlog. I don't remember, somewhere I remember like I had to rewrite my outline because I had just like done, I'm trying to see what my hair looks like. Okay, but I had what did I do? Because I had written the draft weird. Yeah. Like it was like the draft was no, I hadn't written. Okay, I'm just so out of place because it's just like I needed to have like some sort of, usually have like this book and then I just like put in what I'm gonna say, but I didn't for this video, so I'm just like rambling. But it is usually now I wrote an outline. It didn't work out because I did like detailed things, and then when I tried to go in to write the book, I was kind of just like writing what was on the outline, and I was trying to expand, but it wasn't really expanding. So like my chapters were like 3 pages long. Well, no, like what's called paragraphs long. So yeah, I feel like also like learning that like I can write a really messy first draft and then just like keep just writing drafts over and over and over again until I get something good, instead of just like writing drafts trying to make it longer and longer, because it's like making a draft longer isn't going to mean anything if I'm going to delete the scene. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do moving forward. So my next video will either be me I don't need a brainstorm for this book because I've been writing this book. Like this book is very much like here. I just need to make it. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna outline next draft. I'll probably make a mood board just to show you guys what the book is, the vibes of the book are, and then we'll keep it like that. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say for this video. I hope you guys wait, no, that's not in my outline. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.